Is polygamy helpful or hurtful to relationships? Man, let's grab them cigars and get into this thing. Yeah.
It's your boy JB.
I see you.
Live and direct to you. You know what it is. Come on and join in.
Yes, what up? It's your boy JB coming at you live and direct, and you know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff. You can find me on Instagram at the Real Cigar Jeff. You can find me on Facebook at the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, and of course, you on YouTube. Do me a favor, mash that subscribe button, hit that like button, turn on that bell for notifications, man. And y'all know the theme of this podcast: real people having real conversations. And man, that means I gotta introduce y'all to my panel. Man, first up to help y'all understand this thing is my boy Big J in the building. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Tell y'all where y'all can find him on the socials.
It's your big homie, Big J the Barber. You can find me on Instagram, Big J the Barber, BIGJAYTHEBARBER.
Okay, all right, but Big J, where can they find you on YouTube, man? We gotta get with it. YouTube too, right?
I know, man. I only have like probably 80 subscribers over there. You know what I mean? Because I guess YouTube don't like me uploading my videos for some reason. So I don't know. But yeah, it's Big J the Barber over there on YouTube, and I guess this new thing called Thread. I guess you can find me there too, Big J the Barber, because I'm just learning about that also.
I got to get on that too. Right now, I ain't got on it yet, but I got to get on that too, man. You know, Big J, man. Always good to have you in the building, brother. It's good to have you in the building. Absolutely. Appreciate you coming on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, y'all know who I got next, man. I got next. He the self-proclaimed people's champ. The one y'all love because he love to hate on me. Of course, it's going to be even worse tonight. I can already tell. He in his backyard. He feeling free. He feeling free tonight.
Undisclosed location.
I'm sorry. Yeah, y'all don't search his IP address right now. He trying to act like he in some top secret spot, man. I'm gonna let him tell y'all who he is and where y'all can find him at on the socials.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy T.L. Clayton. You can always find me on Instagram at T.L. Clayton #1. I do have the Patreon page. It's The Joke I Didn't Tell. You can also find me over there.
All right, man. TLC, what tonight, you sipping and smoking on, bro?
Before I was interrupted, I was about to say.
Now, you had done your clothes. I
got the, the Oliva O-Stick O-Series.
Okay.
Smoking on that tonight. And I just got a Bacardi and Coke that I'm sipping on with it, so.
Bro, you step your game up with the cigars, man. I gotta give you credit on that. I remember when you first started, man, to where y'all. I mean, that Cereal is a good stick, man. You can't go wrong.
I've been watching the Real Cigar K.
Oh, here we go.
And
like I ain't in the review. Like I ain't in the reviews. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, yeah, And this is why he get that right there. That's enough. All right, guys, look, y'all know, man. We appreciate TLC. We appreciate TLC being on the panel. As always, man, and y'all know who finishing it up, man. My A1 from day one. I'm going to let her introduce herself, man. Tell y'all where y'all can find her on the socials.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Thanks, JB, for having me back on. I made it through another week. It's your girl, Rhonda. You can find me on Instagram at RMBLNBT. And tonight, I'm sipping on pineapple Ciroc and Sprite at the last
Okay.
Oh, so here's my...
Not the hospital straw. Don't be bringing up the hospital straw.
And my real
What you doing, Robin?
It fell. Okay. I'm back.
Look, all right. All right, man. Y'all know, as always, good to have my dog on the podcast. And y'all make sure, man, go on over there and follow her. Go on over there and follow her on Instagram, man, and let her know, too, because yesterday was birthday day, man. Yesterday, man, she celebrated her birthday. We letting everybody know. Y'all go on over there and give us some of them belated birthday wishes, man. Yeah, man. So y'all know how it is, man. We about to get into this. We about to get into this thing right now. Does polygamy help or hurt relationships? Now, before I get into this, guys, a lot of people have been saying, Jeff, why you on this relationship kick? And I'm gonna just tell y'all guys, as a content creator, it ain't I can't control what y'all talking about that's trending. If y'all weren't talking about polygamy, I wouldn't have to talk about polygamy on the podcast. I would love to talk about leadership. I'd love to talk about higher education. I'd love to talk about all the boring stuff. That don't get no views. So guess what? Y'all struggling with these relationships, and until y'all get these relationships right, we can't talk about the good stuff because some of y'all have started living your life based on what's trending on social media. Now, y'all go back and look at that video where we did, all four of us, Hometown Hookup Edition. Y'all go back and look at that video that we did entitled, Is Social Media the Side Piece or the Main Piece? Y'all remember that video that we did? And we went and got into that thing. Everybody gave you some good tips. Because the reason we having to do these relationship podcasts are y'all comparing y'all relationships to what you see on social media. And one of the things that's trending on social media right now is polygamy. So y'all know, man, look, Jay, when you know I got to do it, I don't know if Khalil in the audience or not, but Jay, you know, tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought about it, man, when you heard the talk.
I mean, well, first off, me and you went to lunch on Thursday, and I didn't even know what the word polygamy mean anyway. So I had to ask you first, like, wait a minute, what is the top? What is that? And so all I know about it is that, for one, it's illegal in the United States, I guess. So I have no idea where you plan on taking this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen and then reply as I normally do.
Y'all you got to love it. I got to throw it to Jay. Hey guys, I just got told. I forgot to let y'all know. I'm smoking my H Upman by AJ Fernandez. Y'all see it at AJ Fernandez H Upman. And of course, I brought back the Elijah Craig small batch. Had to put that in there for all the people who literally come here to see what we smoking. So since TLC, I can't let everybody think TLC the only one up here with a premium cigar. But I'm glad Jay brought that in. I'm going to do my round robin. TLC, you got your note cards out. Tell me what you were thinking when you heard about it.
Well, is it beneficial to a relationship? I was like, it depends on the relationship and what you're trying to get out of the relationship. So I had to go back and look up like polygamy and like the history of polygamy. I know there's a lot of tribes and like Greece and Romans, and way back in the day, it was a little more accepted, I guess, than it is in today's world. So I was trying to figure out like why did it stop, or why was it not as attractive now as it once was, or not even legal now. And when I was starting to look at the history, it took me way back. I mean, way back looking up polygamy. I end up like with Greek mythology.
Yep.
And it was talking about Apollo, the god Apollo. He got this woman pregnant. And then the woman fell in love with this other dude. And Apollo got jealous. He ended up killing the woman. And then he felt bad for killing the woman. So he cut the woman open, took the baby out of the womb, gave it to like a centaur to raise. This baby became like the god of medicine. I think his name was Asclepius, I guess his name is. Anyway, in modern medicine, if you look at the symbol for modern medicine, the rod with the snake around it, that's what he represents. Anyway, I was like, what does this have to do with polygamy? But it all does tie back into modern medicine. And they were saying before modern medicine, the birth rate of kids was very low. So a lot of kids would not live into adulthood. So men would have multiple women so they could have multiple kids. But with modern medicine and with injections and things that you get now kids live longer. So they have a better success rate. You don't really need multiple women. You don't need multiple kids. So I was like, okay, so polygamy has been, I guess, lowered, I guess you could say. Just because men don't need to have that many women to have that many kids with now. Unless you're Nick Cannon. I mean, if you're Nick Cannon, then, you know, nothing that I just said applied.
All right, we're going to tag Nick Cannon in this. We're going to tag Nick Cannon in this video, see what happens. See if he I think Big J got enough followers to get his attention. He probably ain't gonna care that it came from me. I'm going to have to tag Jay in it too. But yeah, we got to see. Hey, TLC, that's what I'm talking about, right?
Long story short, it depends on what purpose you have for your relationship. If you want to have a bunch of kids, then polygamy would function for you. Like,
and see, guys, y'all got to understand. This is why TLC gets to be on the podcast, because he's a linear thinking. Y'all see that history lesson y'all got? For all of y'all who think it was just willy-nilly having women everywhere, you better know when people drop a word, what is rooted in and how far this goes back. That's why I had TLC on the podcast. So now he done the research. Y'all keep listening. I'll perfect his message. It was a little choppy, but I'll perfect it later on. But all I needed, I just need to get him talking a little bit, get the panel warmed up. I'll finesse this thing. Y'all know y'all will get some good takeaways by the end of this. Man, y'all know, Rhonda, tell me what you thought when you got the topic. Or did you just show up like Jay? You just showed up like Jay too?
I had to look up some stuff just to make sure, because I was under the impression that the key with polygamy was being married to multiple women or men, depending on what you're doing. And so it evidently is something with them being multiple shows out here based on polygamy. And I guess I really don't know that much about it to be one way or the other. To me, it doesn't make sense, but I feel like for a lot of people, it does make sense. If you want to share, and if you know your whatever wife you're supposed to play or whatever husband you're supposed to play, then it may work. But then I'm like, do you need to talk? If you need to talk to somebody, make sure you're good. So no, but polygamy, yeah, like, and what brought up with my search, it showed that it directed me back to African ties with polygamy, which I thought that was pretty interesting, but it's the motherland, so what you expect? It's the creator of it. So, but no, I'm looking forward to this conversation so I can learn more about it. Off the top of the dome, though, hell no, they ain't beneficial. Back to the
So Rhonda says, hell no, it ain't beneficial. And I like what TLC said. And guys, another thing that triggered this was on the last podcast. TLC started on probably not the last podcast, but probably one prior to that, where he talked about the contract of a relationship. And what is the contract laying out? I think my concern with polygamy is you got people who claiming to do it, but don't know the foundational history behind it. Jay, you're a barber. TLC, you're in real estate and IT. Rhonda, you're a massage therapist. There's people who don't know the foundation of your guys' professions out there messing up the profession, out there messing up the concept of a thing, right? And so the one thing I'm going to do on this early is just to kind of help frame the conversation. I want y'all to just see this. Article, because we're going to start with this thing, man. And, and I want y'all to see where this is coming from. And this is coming from Psychology Today. So I apologize, guys. I should have had this back at the top. But I want y'all to see what this says, the pros and cons of polygamy. And look at the key point. I just want to stick there for a second. I want to stick there for a second. TLC, can you see that? Jay and
yeah,
I can see it.
Look at the first one, what it says, right? Polygamy may benefit the woman involved, who may come to enjoy one another's company and share out the burdens of housekeeping and childbearing. TLC just brought that up, right? TLC just brought that up. In the times when this stuff was popular, you didn't have vaccinations. You didn't have all this stuff. Most children died. Most children didn't live. And clearly, that goes into like slave breeding and all that kind of stuff too. And then it says younger wives may add to the status and standing of the first wife while at the same time subtracting from her responsibilities. And then it says it sanctions and perpetuates gender inequality with co-wives officially and patently subordinate to their husband. Now, the reason I'm going there, guys. The reason I'm going there, I want to go down to another. Now, Jay, as I'm scrolling down, okay, as I'm scrolling down, now that you see that, Jay, what's going through your head now?
Not much.
Thank you.
Not much, really. I mean, because it's like, go ahead. What you say?
No. I was going to say that what got me with this article, the first thing, it started dealing with the woman. Mm-hmm. Most guys think the polygamy benefits them. This is what got me the entire time. Those key points started off that polygamy benefits the woman. So when you see those key points, Jay, tell me your opinion then.
I mean, if it was in today's society, I would say that that'd be something I would be interested in. But at the same, but at the same, but at the same time, you know, you just got to think about it, because today's society, some of these women is way different in comparison to how back in the day used to be, because, you know, the women carry themselves and conducting themselves a little bit different, you know, and I could only imagine when you argue with one, how you argue with the others nowadays. So it's hard to keep one happy, let alone 4 or 5. So I don't know. It's a tough subject for me.
And Jay, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, guys. And the reason I'm keeping the article pulled up, because I want to get TLC and Rhonda's opinion too. One of the things these people are doing, they're jumping into something that thinks it means men are superior to women. And that may not necessarily be the case for polygamy. And that's why those key words, and we're going to keep going through it. And you think about what TLC said, polygamy wasn't for you to just be going around sowing your royal oats, if you will. There was a strategy behind it to repopulate stuff. So this is the best part about it, guys. I tell you guys that this thing ain't edited. Nobody scripts out what they're going to say. And I'm glad that Jay is seeing this for the first time. And Jay is right that it's illegal. It's illegal in America, right? It's illegal in America, but certain religions allow it civilly. And that's what you're finding is, depending on your religious background, you may have these things be tolerated, if you will. I hope I'm using the right word, tolerated or accepted, depending on what religion you're in. So TLC, when you saw the key points, what do you think?
Well, it actually tied back into what my research that I looked at, because I was interested in learning more about polygamy, and it actually mentioned the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yes.
Now, just like Big J said, it's illegal in America, polygamy now, but they used to practice it at least. And I think the biggest polygamist was with the Church of Latter-day Saints. I forgot how many wives he had. I think it was like 30 something, if I remember off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, like, how does that work exactly? How would that benefit him or anybody if they wanted to be a polygamist? And when I thought about that, I was like, you know, when it comes to religion, how does a religion survive? You either have to expand, go outside of your community and find some people to convert into your religion, or you have to take the people inside your community and expand from within. Mm-hmm. So that's basically why they were using polygamy. They're kind of cut off or isolated to themselves. They raise these women. You got to create a bubble.
You got to create a bubble in order for it to work.
You have kids yourself, and you raise them within your community. So in that sense, I wouldn't see, based on this, as the wives pretty much in that religion already have assigned roles. They know what their position is. They know what the man's position is in that religion. So I wouldn't see them competing with the man or anything like that. I think having multiple wives, they would understand better how polygamy works. They've already been raised in that culture. So I don't think there would be a conflict there. I think it would work for them. But for people like us that, you know, is new to us, I think there'd be a lot of problems. There'd be a lot of conflict. I don't think it's something you could just sign up for tomorrow.
And TLC, yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of confused. I'm reading this thing now. Is there like 2 different spellings for this? Like,
yeah. So polygyny and polygamy. Polygyny is under the umbrella. So it's just he's kind of going back and forth into the different derivatives of it, but it's technically the same thing. And so before we get into Rhonda, that's why I wanted to read this. You know, as y'all can see in the audience, I'm getting told that you know, this article from a man perspective and it's BS. So you know, y'all don't worry about that right there. That, you know, got some haters in the audience. But anyway, it's one of those situations. It's one of those situations where you see right here under Islamic jurisprudence, a man can take up to 4 wives, so as long as he treats them equally. While it's true that Islam permits polygyny, it does not require or impose it. Marriage can only occur by mutual consent, and a bride is able to stipulate that her husband to be is not to take a second wife. Goes back to what TLC said. Monogamy is by far the norm in Muslim societies, and as most men cannot afford to maintain more than one family, and many of those who could would rather not.
Yeah, see,
that's why Rhonda said. That said, polygyny remains very common across much of Africa. Rhonda, you didn't even realize this was going to be in the article. I ain't sending this to you. So, Rhonda, now that TLC done said that, tell me what you're thinking.
Listen, it's still it's still to me brainwashing. It's still to me cult like. It's still to me low self-esteem issues. It's still to me like what's really going on, because and I guess it depends on, like TLC was saying, what you actually believe in, what religion you do follow. It doesn't, again, if you are that person, that man or that woman that need to have multiple spouses, whether you could take care of them or not, it's just something about that at its foundation. It's just a little suspect to me. It's just a little suspect. Again, when you Americanize a word, what it was supposed to be, it's just interesting how stuff just shifts from what was done culturally and like TLC was saying, more acceptable back in the day, and how it has translated over here in America. It's just real different. And I don't know too many rich people or rich countries in Africa from that standpoint where they would be able to afford more than one, if they can even afford one. Unless you're in the major parts like South Africa, Cape Town, Johannesburg. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just don't. Just very cult-like to me. That's just where I stand with it.
And Ron, that's what I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that. And the reason I'm doing this podcast, guys, is because you got people out here claiming they're doing this activity. So many people are claiming it that it's trending on social media. And so one of the things that's causing problems in relationships is that some people think that this is the answer without knowing the foundation behind it. And Jay, that's why I appreciate you coming on saying, hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't know nothing about this, but what y'all going to see, and I'm going to get to your TLC, give me 1 second. What y'all going to see right here is what TLC just said. Polygamy is illegal and criminalized across Europe and the Americas, as well as in China, Australia, and other countries. Even so, there are many instances of polygamy in the West, especially within immigrant communities and certain religious groups such as the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ, LatterDay Saints, and other Mormon fundamentalists. See, all y'all got to realize is this. The most people, I'm going to say this because this going to be where we going with this thing. Y'all going to realize the people that's making this trend are the people who are religion-based. They are the people who are religion-based. Nobody who's not based in religion is talking about this. What's happening is people are getting teaching in the Bible, and then, TLC, I want to get you to jump in here. People are getting teaching in the Bible that they're using or Bible or whatever book they use, Quran, Torah, whatever, right? They're getting an interpretation that makes them think that they get the chance to do this because their God is a higher power than Caesar is. Now, that's the one thing you got to love about reading any type of religious book. Caesar is Caesar no matter what book you're in. God is God, whatever book you're in, right? That's the best part about it. There's some other things to debate. But I think what we got to realize is, and we're going to jump on this in a future podcast, is religion the problem with relationships? See, polygamy is not the problem with relationships. And I tell people this all the time. You'll never see a dating couple trying to have a marriage night. But every married couple I know, man, we need to have a date night. I thought marriage was supposed to be the blessing. Why the hell are the dating people not asking? You don't hear the dating people talking about this. This is all marriage people, guys. This is why we jumping into this thing, because it's married people who are stuck in these relationships. They based in religion, doesn't matter which religion you are. And now they trying to get other women. Now, I'm going to say this to Jay. Jay going to appreciate that. And I'll say this to Rhonda, too. But the best part about business, why the hell am I going to try to get another wife? I can't get another business unless I get the first one working first. So if my marriage and my business is already screwed up, why am I going to get another one?
Yeah, that doesn't
Why
make
am I going
sense.
to get another one? Hey, Jay, am I lying, Jay? What the hell am I going to go? How the hell am I going to get 5 if the first one ain't working? All I'm going to do is screw up the other 4. TLC, jump in there. Let me know. I saw you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to touch on the wealth thing because we're looking at wealth from like being Americans and our perspective on what wealth is. And some of these people are wealthy in their own minds. I mentioned on a previous podcast a while back, I ended up meeting this guy. He was like from Africa. He was like a manager at Subway. And he was saying like, yeah, in a few years, I'm about to retire. And I'm looking at him like, what? He was like, yeah, I just save my money up and send it back home for my family. Like my whole family is able to live and save up money just from me working at Subway as a manager. So when he sends that money back, his family is rich. His family's wealthy from the country that he lives in. Now, I had never thought about this until you mentioned the podcast. But when he said he was sending money back to his family, I just assumed like his mom, his dad, maybe his wife.
No.
Who's to say he doesn't have two wives?
It's the wives. It's the wives and the children. Y'all notice in the last part I held up, TLC, it said immigrant societies.
But that was my point. He might have 2 or 3 wives, and he might not even be around them. He might be over here in America working, so he could go over there and retire.
Yes.
So he can go back home and retire.
And
so when we think about wealth, we're thinking about it from our perspective and as Americans. Like, I'm not wealthy now. But from other countries, they actually may be. Like,
and I'm glad you brought that in, TLC. I'm glad you brought that in. I'm gonna read this next. I'm gonna read this because I wanted y'all to hear the immigrant side and the religious side. Immigrant side, religious side. What dominates the news? Immigration, religion, all that kind of stuff dominates the news. So as people think they becoming more spiritual, they actually becoming more religious. Then they find in these places in the Bible because these spiritual books that they read, and they're being suppressed sexually. They're being told to not have it, to withhold from it. All this kind of stuff, right? God will be pleased, and this, and this. And then they get married, and they think they're supposed to. They think that it's going to be unlimited sex all the time. Then you find out that it ain't unlimited sex all the time. It's unlimited work all the time.
That's not marriage?
No, it's unlimited work all the time, TLC. It ain't, look, ask anybody who married. What the first thing they say? Marriage is work. Marriage is work. That's what they say. Look at Jay. Right?
I thought they meant the bedroom.
No. Marriage is work.
Maybe in the beginning.
Well, but the reason why I'm telling y'all this is because we the next podcast is going to be, is religion helpful or hurtful to relationships? Because people are getting these interpretations, guys, and now you put an unrealistic expectation on this woman. You're putting unrealistic expectations on yourself. So the reason I wanted to go there, Jay, then I'm going to get you in there, Ron, I want you to go in there. What are the pros and cons of polygamy? A man who takes more than one wife satisfies more of his sexual appetites, signals high social status, and generally feels better about himself. His many children supply him with a ready source of labor and the means through arranged marriages to create multiple reliable and durable social, economic, and political alliances. It may be costly, but in the long term, it can make a rich man richer still. Well, y'all know I'm about to go there. If you break, don't even try this. Look at what that said. It's costly, but long term can make a rich man richer still. Boy, Jay, jump in there, Rhonda. Jump in there. Let me know what you think when you hear say that.
Now, that's exactly what I thought about when I thought about this topic. That same paragraph right there is exactly what came to my mind, but I didn't know where you was going with it, so I'm just trying to wait and listen. And you pretty much said it, because the first thing that came to mind, although it's not arranged marriages, but again, is Dan Bilzerian. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing to go to mind, is that every time I see what he does and how he conduct himself and how he carries himself, he has multiple women that actually live with him, and they all get along. They go to trips together, do numerous things together. They take turns in the bedroom. You know what I mean? Everybody know their time frame. Everybody know what they're supposed to do in the house. So it's just one of those things where that paragraph actually is what I thought about when it came to it. But I was looking at the chat as well with the Real Cigar Case saying brainwashed. You know what I mean? And with religion and things like that. And my thing is that not for nothing, if religion could brainwash anybody to do anything. I mean, heck, 9/11, prime example, based on religion, brainwashing these individuals to say if they do this task at hand that they think they're going to go straight to heaven. And,
70 virgins.
Yeah.
That's what they were promised.
It's just one of those things where religion, depending on what religion and beliefs that you believe in, it's just anyone could be brainwashed to do anything these days when they put the religion title in front of it.
Yes. And that's why we talking about that on the next podcast. Y'all mark it down. is religion destroying or uplifting relationship? Because at the end of the day, guys, the difference between religion today and religion yesterday, and I'm just talking America, religion in America, if you were part of religion, you had resources. Now, today, if you're a part of religion, you struggling to make ends meet. What changed? What changed is that the teaching changed. Because in order for me to be rich, I got to make somebody poor. That's how it works in religion. And so that's why, guys, we want to get there. Rhonda, jump in there. Jump in there as we continue this article. Jump in there. Let me know what you think after you, that rich man, richer still. Because I got to use the line.
Reading this stuff right here, man, I'm trying my best not to finish this drink.
Down it.
I know what I'm about to say. Again, this paragraph to me screams, let me find a portion of the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, whatever book they read in, and let me convict these people to do my will and what I want them to do. And it's nothing godly about it. It's nothing safe about it. To me, it's just crazy. It's just like listening to this. It's nothing but manipulation throughout this doggone paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I also understand what TLC was saying, because if he's sending his money back to Africa, the man you were talking to in Subway, they probably got goats and stuff that they trade and stuff for, which is their currency. And if you could buy a whole bunch of cattle or whatever, then I can see how you were able to send your money back home, these American dollars, back to whatever continent you're from or country you're from, and your family can do well. It's no different than the Mexican immigrants that's here. They send their money back to Mexico as well to help their family.
Yes.
And they get richer, right? But I think if the immigrants are the wrong color, it's going to be a problem here in America. Back to you, JB.
Rhonda, you can't just cut off like that. I need to flow back into.
I'm over it. This article, man, I'm over it.
The reason why, but see, I'm Rhonda. I'm glad you said you over the article. That's why I brought this article up, guys. That's why I brought this article up. It's from Psychology Today. So, Rhonda, you right, because a psychologist is writing this. And a lot of people are not considering the psychological damage that's going to be done if they start to get into this, especially if you don't have the resources to do it. I think all four of us can agree to that, correct? Mm-hmm. All four of us can, dude, at the end of the day, just like when we talked about the gold digger one last week, the problem is, like TLC said on the gold digger one last week, dude probably renting that car just for a YouTube video. Yes. Right? He probably renting that car just to do a YouTube video. And so what I'm trying to get everybody to understand is we didn't put, especially all my fellas out there. I ain't trying to bash the fellas, but man, look, we got to get the resources first. I would love to do a podcast on getting resources, but don't nobody want to hear that part. They trying to do this part. You can't get the fruit without the seeds. Okay, then that seed got to produce roots. And then that seed got to sprout up. Then that seed got to grow into a tree. Then that tree got to grow some branches. That branches got to grow some vines. Then the vines produce fruit. This right here, if you're having a conversation with your woman, about polygamy, and you are not in a position to where there's not a want or a need financially that she has because you doing it big, now you qualify for the conversation. I hate to say it like this, but let's go to that Zion thing real fast. Right? When you got a $200 million contract, you can pop somebody off $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. I ain't even know Zelle let you do that much. See, I got to get my game up. Look, well, maybe Zelle don't make it. Zelle. Yeah, Zelle, I ain't know Zelle let you do that. I was proud about the little money I sent, but I ain't know Zelle let you go. That's how TLC. When she started dropping the receipts, I was like, how the hell can you send that amount of money without going into the bank and doing a wire? But I'm learning. I ain't on that level. And one of the things I'm trying to let everybody know on this podcast is, if you ain't on that level, stop it. Because then it is detrimental. It is detrimental. How is it that we don't see Jeff Bezos with any other woman? We don't see Warren Buffett with any other woman. We don't see Bill Gates. Not outside, right? Mm-hmm. Not outside. How is that happening that the people who are the wealthiest people in the world, we're not seeing this type of behavior? But people who are rooted in religion think they're entitled to something like this because of the wrong interpretation that they may have been taught. And what's the wrong interpretation? Ain't no fake it till you make it here. This ain't no by faith type stuff. You got to have some resources to be able to take care of this. And what I wanted to do is his many children supply him with a ready source of labor. And that's what it goes back to, guys. His many children supply him with a ready source of labor. The only getting polygamy is to reproduce. It's not to just fulfill sexual desires. You have such a big empire, and TLC said it, Rhonda said it. If I'm doing this in Africa, there's a lot of land, a lot of livestock. Same thing over in Mexico. It's a lot of crops and all that stuff you got to pick manually. That's why you need the wives to reproduce. No different than what slave breeding was after they outlawed the slave trade. You couldn't bring them in from Africa anymore, so what did you have to do? You had to start breeding them in here. You had to breed them on the land. So that's where I am with it, guys. And again, that's why, Jay, I really appreciate you being honest with the listeners and telling them that, hey, look, man, I ain't know what this was about, but this is why I brought the article up, and I wanted to bring the article up from the beginning, because one of the things you guys are going to find is, and I would try to read the one about Louis the Fourth TLC of France, right? But I can't pronounce that matrix intitui, right? So I won't even read that one, you know. But I think one of the things, guys, we got to do is stop letting people walk in ignorance, thinking they can do something they can't afford. Because this is a wealthy man's game, and you got people who don't have the wealth trying to do it. Jay, jump in there. Let me know what you think.
Well, just like I said, hey, you learn something new every day. And so my thing is that the topic of conversation that you brought up with that article is exactly what I thought about it. And I go back to referring to what I said prior. The reason why I don't know nothing about it because I don't have the resource to know about it in the first place. So at the end of the day, you know, my bankroll ain't to that status, and so my thing is that it probably would never happen anyways. And I mean, to each their own, you know. But like I said, I learned something today from that article, and also had this topic of conversation, which is cool because, you know, yeah, we'll read real people with real conversations, but ain't nothing wrong with learning something as well.
Absolutely. And that's why, guys, the next podcast, and TLC, I'm going to get your thoughts because I want to make sure we talk on this thing. The next podcast is religion destroying or uplifting relationships. Now, I ain't attacking nothing. I'm just saying a lot of these wrong teachings or what people are interpreting are starting in a setting where they're being told all these good things their God can do. Hell, I'm there. I know all the good things God can do. But I also know the process of getting there. But also too, I don't have land and livestock and crops that I need to keep reproducing, right? Because here's the deal. What happens if the polygamy stops working out, TLC, and now the government found out you had all these kids? Well, what the government gonna make you do with all them kids? Go ahead and jump in there, TLC.
Well, again, when I keep thinking of these scenarios, I keep thinking like, as a family unit, what can you all do? What can you all do together? Like farming comes up. Maybe if you own your own company,
building houses, contractor, building houses.
Yeah, something like that. Raising cattle, things like that.
Yeah,
it would make sense. But in order to get into that relationship, you would kind of have to know up front what the person's role is. Like, okay, I'm gonna have 2 wives, and this is what both of the women are gonna be in charge of. Whether it's watching after the kids, raising them, birthing them, farming. But it doesn't make sense for us, or at least not for me, in modern day era, just because I don't have those type of resources. Where I need 20 kids. So
it's so funny because I like that Rhonda said she sees the manipulation in the article. Right, Rhonda, I like that you said that you see that manipulation in the article, and a lot of people you see trending on social media. Here's what y'all got to understand: polygamy is hidden. Polygamy is not out in the open, so it shouldn't be trending. It shouldn't. If you rocking polygamy, nobody shouldn't know. Nobody should know. Go ahead, Tessa.
I want to say something. I know people say, don't judge a book by its cover, but when I was looking over polygamy just online, and I'm seeing all the different groups of people who like do polygamy, I was just looking at like, would I want to hang out with these people? Like, I've seen the show Sister Wives,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, does that who I want to hang out with? Like, nah. Like, it's not my cup of tea, but
I mean, I want to hang out with Dan Bilzerian.
But just for his knowledge, Jay. Just for his knowledge. You want to learn from his knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. You want to learn from his knowledge. Rhonda, jump in there. Let me know what you're thinking.
No, like when you had brought this topic up too, of course I had thought about King Solomon, right, in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? 300 wives, 600 concubines?
700 concubines.
Yeah, I don't read the Bible like that. But yeah. So it's you know all the details and stuff, right?
Some religious dude gonna send you all the scriptures. Good morning, Grand Rising. Grand Rising, Queen. Grand Rising. Y'all don't send my sister no Grand Rising. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
and he works with Bitcoin.
Yeah, he work with Bitcoin too.
Lord. X that out real quick. But like he's revered in the Bible as what one of the most wise, if not the wise, right? And having all these ladies. But before you took that article off, it did say that in a country like America, only the legitimate first wife would be recognized, not the other one. Legally, yes. Right? When stuff get down to it, it's just going to be them, that first wife. And so, seriously, man, I just I don't know.
But I think
that's all I'm saying.
but in essence, guys, I'm glad Rhonda said that, because the problem with religion, what's happening right now, wealthy people ain't in religion no more. They are targeting people without the resources. And now these people are looking for some type of relief. And y'all got to hear me out on this. And that's why what the next podcast is going to be about is religion hurting relationships. Because what's happening right now, Rhonda, you just said it. I'm picking out things in the Bible is a chronological book. The Quran is a chronological book. There's certain steps that you go through to get to this point. And why does Solomon exist? Solomon exists because of David's mistake, right? So the first thing Solomon asked for was wisdom. That was the smartest thing anybody can do. I want to learn, tell me everything I need to know. Solomon did not have a problem with those 300 wives and 700 concubines. It's right there in the book if you read it. And it doesn't matter what religion you're in, it's right there in the book. What was his problem? His problem is the wives and the concubines started controlling him. If you're the person with the knowledge, the wisdom, and the power, how is it that the people under you control your behavior? And so now this is why people can't make it work in America, because they're confusing the sexual transaction and they're giving up their authority. And that's not what you're supposed to do because of that. So TLC, that's why I like what you brought up. Jay, I like what you brought up. And then you got these guys on social media who want you to believe they running all these women. Look at what happened to Andrew Tate. Hell, Kevin Samuels ain't even here no more, right? You look at what they done arrested Andrew Tate again. If they ain't sending you the message,
or Samuels so this guy Tate is a polygamist?
No. So what? Now Tate is not a polygamist. Tate is just a guy who tell you how he sees men thinking. And if you ever get a chance to listen to him, he tell you up front. Just like Kevin Samuels, right? Like these guys tell you certain things, and I'm not here to say I agree or disagree. But what's happening is people are taking all this knowledge to feed their flesh, but to feed your flesh, you got to have money. People are forgetting the most important step, which is, man, I better go get me some money so I can afford this. And so now you got all these people, you got houses being ruined, man. This thing is literally trending on social media, trending on YouTube, trending on Twitter, literally because you got people skipping the number one step. The only reason Solomon was able to do what he did, your daddy defeated Goliath. Your daddy got all the spoils of the war. A lot of those wives and concubines were given to him when your daddy died, because that's what happened back in those days. So a lot of people don't understand some of this stuff. They just interpreted it wrong. They got taught wrong. And these people have been taught that they need sex so bad that now they can't think logically. They can't think logically. And like TLC said, I'm looking at these reality shows and I'm looking at these people that you see online preaching it. I don't want to hang out with you. Like, you know, when the hell I'll get a cigar with you? But man, I heard this stuff. I had a cigar during lunch one day. Two dudes and they're discussing polygamy. Yeah, man, look, I just need to get me a couple other wives, make my wife act right. Bro, if you can't make her act right,
Yeah.
what makes you think you? And here's the sad part. Go ahead and get two more wives. Go ahead and get two more wives. The wife gonna train them how to treat you like crap too.
Exactly. Idiot.
Look, say nobody. Look, if y'all want to see a training program work, let women hear from other women. You don't ever want your girl to go on a girls trip. She ain't coming back the same. Right? A girl don't go on a girls trip and come back the same. I'm telling you right now. Don't ever let your girl go on a girls trip and think she coming back the same. Jump in there, TLC.
Well, for everything that I saw online, at least about polygamy, it wasn't for like the enjoyment of sex.
Never.
It was for the purpose. It had
Of reproducing.
Purpose
of reproducing.
So, I mean, if you want to have two wives, okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What's the purpose behind it? So
look, Jay, what you think when TLC say that? Ain't nothing about polygamy got to do with sex. It's so that you can fund your workforce.
I mean, he's right. I mean, as far as what the definition is, but you know, we in America now where social media runs damn near everything, so everybody wants to see how many people they can smash. You know what I mean? It's just like prime example. I hate to bring this up, but you know, they have rumors saying that Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian is trying to go ahead and hook up.
I saw that.
Yeah, but we got a whole bunch of people talking about Tom, don't do it. You're gonna hurt it for everybody. You know what I mean? So it's like people just play the numbers game. I take that back. Not all people, but it seemed like some of these celebrities
that's trending. The stuff that's trending is
they play the numbers game, man.
Yeah, it's so funny because Rhonda, I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad the passion that you're bringing on this. In TLC, for the first time, I'm glad you contributed to the podcast because it was. I mean, we done a lot of episodes, and finally you brought some.
I done did some research and everything.
Yeah, I can tell you came on. I can tell when you came on. I was like, okay, this dude got trees in the background. He done told somebody hey man, watch the podcast. It's gonna drop on Friday. I'm bringing some wisdom. Jeff asked me to take the lead. So just
whatever.
Yeah. Whoever TLC has told to watch this is not the normal TLC. Go back and watch the other ones. Go back and watch a couple of episodes ago where he ain't show up with no contribution. Yeah. So whatever lady or watch this podcast with the trees in the background, nice little birds chirping and all that stuff, don't fall for it. That ain't the real him. I'm hating. I'm hating. And one of the things I'll say, guys, is that we got to start talking about when we gonna be the love doctors. We gonna be the relationship podcast. But what we gonna talk about is Rhonda say it all the time. Keep the main thing the main thing. Some of y'all ain't qualified to do this stuff, right? Some of y'all don't even work hard enough to do this stuff. So you're going around thinking that you need another woman. Remember what we said on previous podcasts. A woman is an amplifier. If you suck, she gonna make you suck more. If you suck, she ain't gonna make you better. She gonna make you worse. And this is the best part you gotta love about women. Women ain't gonna ever leave you for somebody worse off than you. You ain't gonna ever see them leave. If they leave you, it's gonna be somebody that's better off for the most part. I ain't gonna say 100%. But this is what we're talking about. Guys, y'all, we do these podcasts based on what's trending. We want to have this content just so y'all can hear our opinion. I ain't judging nobody if you decide to do polygamy. But if you decide to do polygamy, I want to talk to you about the business you have. I don't want to talk to you about the women you have. I ain't interested in that component. I'm just a serial entrepreneur. I'm trying to figure out what's the next thing I can do. And if you got a business, I want to hear about your business. I don't want to hear about your desires. And a lot of people don't get that part. Some of you guys are out there, you're so sex focused that you're not allowing what created all of this stuff. What created all of this stuff first? Before Jesus became the Messiah, he had to be a carpenter for 30 years first. You can't skip the 30 years. Right? TLC, you got people out here coming out here laying hands on people after their first time at church. Man, you get the hell off me with that Crisco. Right? Bruh, you cannot skip the steps. Rhonda, jump in there, let me know what you think.
No, I mean, of course you can't skip the steps. And that's the problem, though. But Americans are highly over-sexualized. You can't go anywhere without it being in your face in some form of fashion. And I don't care if it's straight or homosexual. It doesn't matter. Sex is everywhere. And so that's all that's there playing in the back of your mind, and then also right there in front of your face. How could you not think about any type of relationship or marriage like polygamy and all the other ones? Like, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is sex. Right?
Over sexualized, and underpaid. And that's a recipe for disaster.
Some angry people.
My urges outweigh my resources. And that's when you got a problem, right? This is why a lot of people don't understand you have to chase the bag. You can't chase your urges. And that's why, if y'all go check it out, man, go look at the movie I Think I Love My Wife with Chris Rock. When that man was getting so turned out over that chick, remember they called him into the boardroom. Big old boardroom table, like 20 chairs at that boardroom table. And what did he tell Chris Rock, TLC? I don't know if you've seen the movie. They put a quarter on the end of that table. Said, man, look, you think you're a good lawyer? This quarter, this firm is the table. This quarter is what you bring to the firm. Chris Rock didn't know what to say. The dude said, look, let me tell you something. I done seen a lot of men lose money for chasing women. But I ain't never seen one man lose a woman chasing money.
Money, yep. You damn right. I say that all the time.
He said that on I Think I Love My Wife. And you got cats out here who have switched out chasing the bag for chasing a female. And guess what y'all got to understand? That's what y'all got to understand. The lower your resources, the more fertile you are. The lower your resources, the more fertile you are. And I'm helping y'all out right now. The lower your resources, the more fertile you are. Ain't no broke people paying for IVF, right? Ain't no broke people paying for in vitro fertilization, right? The moment your money change, all of a sudden you can't produce nothing, right? But when I was broke, pop them out. Go ahead, TLC, jump in there.
When you talked about chasing the bag, it just popped in my mind that all this time I was assuming that the guy was like the breadwinner. But what if he had 2 or 3 women and they were the breadwinners?
Absolutely.
And he was chasing them. This was something I saw on TV, and it's always something I don't left field. But it was a guy, he was like a scam artist, and he had like married like 2 separate women. He basically had 2 separate lives. I think he was a truck driver, if I'm not mistaken. But I was like, how did you marry 2 women and they didn't even know about each other? They claim they didn't. I'm like, didn't you have to spend most of your time somewhere? But he was married to both of these women. He had 2 different families, and one woman didn't have any idea about the other one. So maybe polygamy, I don't want to say would work in that scenario, but TLC, like a scam or something. But
TLC, I'm a piggyback off of what you said. It's some women out here running 4 and 5 dudes because they didn't turn into the breadwinner. Y'all got to understand the women out here thinking like the kings. The women get the message. The guys are the ones missing the message, right? The women are getting the message, and I think that one of the things I found is y'all got to understand when that same religious book you reading, the moment women became equal in your country, because marriage in the Bible was property acquisition. Wives in the Bible was property acquisition. You bought them. Well, now they're equal. What the hell I need to marry you for if you're equal? Right? And TLC, you talked about that. You talked about that in previous podcasts, right? And so what's happening with a lot of people, and we can get again, this future podcast topic, what's happening with a lot of people, they're not marrying through Caesar system anymore. They having civil unions where they just have a contract between themselves. Look at what happened with Kevin Costner with that prenup. I don't know if y'all see that. Wife wouldn't move out. Judge said you got to get out. Here's what the prenup said, right? Kick the wife out. Kick the wife out. Like one of the things everybody gonna find is marriage is down in America, just like church attendance is down in America. And the reason it's down is because church is expensive. You got to pay the 10% cover charge. And then you got to pay, you got to buy the offering, right? You got to get some drinks when you get that TLC. Then you got to put something in the pastor's hand on the way out, thanking for the word he gave. The next thing you know, church ain't cheap no more. Remember,
I'm gonna just start walking in with my own juice.
Yeah. Man, I'm just sitting for you. I don't need to hear that message, eh? But look, everything got more expensive. Me and Rhonda were talking about that the other day. Everything has gotten more expensive. And now if you ain't focusing on your bag, bruh, all of a sudden, I go to McDonald's the other day and my Big Mac meal is $11. $11. dollars. What happened to the 2 for $2.22 back in the day when we were at NC State, TLC? We lived with that 2 for $2.22, right?
I didn't know you still did McDonald's.
Yeah, of course I do. Hey, I can't afford this. I can't afford this polygamy stuff. TLC. Look, I couldn't afford the Gold Digger podcast. I'm watching all these people. I'm watching all these people do stuff. I'm like, where y'all getting this money from? And maybe I'm gonna have to hook up with the Bitcoin guy.
TikTok, they get it from TikTok.
I'm gonna have to start doing some crazy stuff on TikTok, jumping off the back of a boat or something.
Breaking your neck.
I have to break my neck and just,
Got straight dead.
it's straight dead. I'm like, what the hell is happening? But man, y'all know that's what it is. And I think one of the things we got to do on this podcast is, look, man, I can't reach everybody, but we can reach somebody. That's the way I look at it, right? You are responsible for your sphere of influence. And that's why Jay and I just laugh about this stuff on Thursdays. We laugh about this stuff on Thursdays when we talk about it. But the reason I'm seeing it, guys, as a content creator, this is happening in the cigar lounges. This is happening. And y'all got to remember, everything is starting with emotion. Your emotions are out of control, which means your urges are going up. And now all of a sudden, you're looking for things to get away from this bad covenant you have, this bad relationship that you have. And what you think is that it's the other person. No, you got taught wrong, and now you're doing wrong. Because the one thing we've gotten away from is, how about focus on your business first? But I can't make that a topic. Nobody will click on it. Right? But if you say, man, is polygamy beneficial? Oh, man, yeah, go listen. Let's see what Jeff got to say. Let's see what Jay got to say. There's going to be some people disappointed when they say, Jay, you don't know about that? Because Jay know about everything in the shop, right? Jay know about everything. Right? So, man, y'all know what it is, man. Jay, give us your final thoughts, man, before we get out of here for the night.
Oh, my final thoughts is chase the bag, not the females. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the female's gonna come regardless, as long as you got you straight. But regardless of the case, it was a good topic for me to learn from. And what was the main topic again? What was it?
Is it beneficial?
Does it help or hurt relationships? Is polygamy beneficial to relationships?
Yeah, and hell no, it ain't beneficial.
Jay about to get some hate, man. No, man, you know, bro, I can't believe you said that, dog. I need to come down and teach you some stuff, man.
Keep his home happy.
Some dude gonna text Jay. Some dude gonna text, man, you know, bro, look, I'm just telling you, man, you need to listen to the Bible, man. You know, I can show you where God gave you this.
Whoever that is, I bet he broke.
Whoever it is, don't come to CJ every week either because he can't afford it. Go ahead, TLC, jump in there. Final thoughts.
Is polygamy beneficial to a relationship? It depends on what the purpose of your relationship is. If it's to have a bunch of kids, then yes. If it serves a purpose for you, then yes. But for modern day people, I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to work for you.
Okay, Rhonda, what's your closing thought?
In America, no. Other countries, maybe. Other ones, where it's legal, absolutely. Because they understand, they get it. That's what they do. That's their culture. That's what they do. America, no. Stop playing yourself and keep the main thing the main thing. Stop playing yourself. Back to you, JB.
That's a rock. Rhonda ain't playing with y'all tonight. Rhonda ain't playing with y'all tonight. That's a rock doing the same thing that Crown Royal do, TLC. And y'all know my final thought, man. And again, this is shameless plug. Y'all go over to my Patreon page, man. It's my Get the Bag series. Why do I do that? Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to tell you, focus on your bag. Because if you don't, all this stuff we talking about with relationship, you want to fix your relationship, fix your resources first. Because the number one thing you fighting over is your money or your lack of ability to be able to do some of these things people want to do. And guys, y'all got to understand, a woman is a luxury. A woman is a trophy. At the end of the day, that trophy won't be seen in a lot of places. When you win the Stanley Cup, what they do? They take that thing around everywhere to show it off. And some of y'all are trying to get women to be less than luxury. And once you try to get them to be less than luxury, I look at, I'm fortunate enough to have a couple cars that are luxury cars. Problem is when you go to the doggone shop to do the maintenance on it. Because guess what? How many of y'all know when you buy a luxury car, you ain't supposed to drive it? Oh, you ain't tell me that when you were selling it to me. It's supposed to just sit there. What you mean I ain't supposed to drive it? Yeah, Jeff, just pull it out every now and then. It ain't meant to be driving the way you driving it. And so I want you guys to understand, let's focus on the business component of it. Polygamy, and I knew TLC, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen, bruh. Who didn't got shot in your neighborhood? I was trying to end it.
Undisclosed location.
Undisclosed
I was
location.
trying to end this before the cops and the rescue squad had to ride through your neighborhood, and still didn't make the time. I was trying to close it out. But yeah, guys, let's focus on business. I'm gonna say it. Polygamy is not beneficial if business is not your first priority. Because when business becomes your first priority, you ain't gonna be talking about polygamy, you're gonna be talking about expansion. And that's why you see that if you focusing on polygamy, ain't nobody inviting you into the boardroom to talk about expansion. Ain't nobody inviting you anywhere because you focused on getting your physical urges met versus showing everybody what your true talent is. And your true talent has to come out in business. And man, y'all know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff, man. Y'all do me a favor. Look below in the description. Get the merch, support the channel. We on our way to 100,000 subscribers. I know all y'all out there saying he ain't gonna hit it. But if we keep doing topics like this, I'm telling y'all, people are watching this channel. And the best part about it, we don't know y'all. Because y'all don't leave comments and stuff like that, but I know you watch. And man, look below in the description, get the merch. I got some new merch coming out. I'm gonna load it. I was supposed to load it the night before the podcast. But man, look, you're gonna get some People's Champ merch. You're gonna get some Whoop De Woo merch. We got some you know who it is merch. We gonna be putting it out here on the we gonna be putting it out here on the website pretty soon, so y'all can get the merch to support your favorite panelists. I'm gonna just go buy a bunch of mine so it can look like people buying mine. I know ain't none of y'all buying my stuff. I know Whoop De Woo and the People's Champ gonna sell the most. I just know how that's gonna work on my podcast.
I've been selling bootlegs, so I don't know.
You just been heat pressing your own TLC? Drink some podcast with TLC? What the hell? How that happen? But man, look, man, I want to thank my panelists again. Y'all know who it is, man. I want to thank my dog, Big J. Tell them where they can find you again.
Yes, sir. You can find the big homie at Big J the Barber, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Thread. You know what I mean? Hey, look, it's just one.
Yes, only
negative Ghost Rider, no pass. Negative Ghost Rider, no pass. But anyways, once again, and that new Thread thing that I don't even know how to use. So Big J the Barber, one and only BIGJAYTHEBARBER. It's spelled out. If anybody else say they Big J the Barber, it's not them.
Well, you say they lying? It's only Big J the Barber. There ain't no polygamy Big J the Barbers. TLC, tell them where they can find you at on Instagram. Tell them where they can find you on the socials, brother.
On Instagram is TL Clayton #1. I'm at Patreon, The Joke I Didn't Tell.
All right, man. Y'all know, and y'all make sure y'all go over there, man. Support that man on Patreon, man. And Rhonda, tell them where they can find you on the socials.
On IG at RMBLMBT.
And man, y'all know what it is. And until next time, we gon' holler. Yeah.
It's your boy JB.
Yeah, TLC.
Live and direct to you. You know what it is. Like and subscribe to.